never stop searching for good ideas from both parties to improve Wisconsin.
Here in Iowa, we may get up early, but we're not woke.
Ohio needs an ass kicker, not an ass catcher.
I promise I'll do everything I can to help make things better, and I'll always tell you the truth.
If you believe the 2020 election was stolen, definitely not your candidate.
Welcome back to State of the Union, the final push until Election Day, just a couple of days away. Thank you so much. Our panel is here. Michael Smerconish, you just came down from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. What are your thoughts on what you're seeing there and then just more broadly?
Broadly, there's a consensus that's formed. It's based on the polling data, the betting markets, which I pay attention to, maybe most importantly, the travel schedules of the principals, like where are people being deployed and where's the money being spent. It would all have to be wrong for there to be something other than a huge victory for Republicans on Tuesday night, which I anticipate. The only saving grace, I think, for Democrats could be that the Republican vote has been undervalued in the last few cycles, and maybe pollsters have this time overcompensated for that, but I think that's a stretch.
You came from the real world also,
Yes,
South Carolina.
no, I actually think that you're seeing Republican pollsters kind of flood the market with some polling that may not be the best in the world. But I do think Democrats are going to have a better night than people expect. And the reason being is I think Democrats will probably won't know who wins the Senate until after Georgia, which will probably be December. But on Tuesday night, you're going to see Democrats maintain or win governor's mansions in states that really matter. You're going to have Wisconsin. You're going to have Michigan. You're going to have Pennsylvania. Those states matter. And why do those states matter? Because of 2024. And you're also going to have Wes Moore, who's going to flip Maryland. And so you're going to have some victories, although we probably won't take back the House or keep the House. We're going to maintain the Senate. And those governor's mansions really matter.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting Michael's advice on the betting markets because I need help there. But I think that, look, I think it's going to be a great night for Republicans. I think that Kevin McCarthy's been underappreciated, the fact that in 2020 he didn't give up an incumbent, and now he's on the cusp of winning 20 to 25 additional seats. I think we pick up the Senate, and I actually think we're going to win a couple governor's mansions. And so I think it's going to be a very big night for Republicans.
Hillary, you have a different take maybe than Bakari on Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mark is right.
Speaking as a Democrat.
I'm a loyal Democrat, but I am not happy. I just think that we are, we did not listen to voters in this election, and I think we're going to have a bad night. And, this conversation is not going to have much impact on Tuesday, but I hope it has an impact going forward, because when voters tell you over and over and over again that they care mostly about the economy, listen to them. Stop talking about democracy being at stake. Democracy is at stake because people are fighting so much about what elections mean. I mean, voters have told us what they wanted to hear, and I don't think Democrats have really delivered this cycle.
I think that's actually very true about the national messaging that's going on. But you actually have some good candidates who are following your advice. You have people like Mark Kelly, who is running a great race. You have people like Raphael Warnock, who's running a great race, and Josh Shapiro,
I would say in those places,
Fetterman and Tim Ryan.
What we have are, the unfortunate combination of strong gubernatorial candidates, like Mark Kelly is I was just in Arizona and spent some time there, talked to a bunch of voters. Mark Kelly's popular, but Kari Lake is more popular. And the combination of Kari Lake's popularity and Joe Biden's unpopularity is going to hurt Mark Kelly. And so I think we're in trouble because of the top of the ticket.
Are you going to interrupt her and disagree with her?
I don't want to break up Dem on Dem violence. Exactly. But I feel like Blake Masters is going to win Arizona because the reality is that the border is a serious issue down there. And to Hillary's point, the Democrats have not talked about how are we going to do to fix inflation at a 40-year high. What are we going to do to control the border? What are we going to do to handle crime?
It's not because of facts, Mark. I don't think we're in trouble because of facts. I think we're in trouble because of messaging.
I think you're in huge trouble because of facts.
You guys were in office for a long time and did nothing about it.
The reality is inflation's at a 40-year high because of specifically the spending policies.
You were in office for a long time and did nothing to fix immigration. You never passed a bill. You never got anything
because of what you guys have done.
We have an economic story to tell. Yeah. People actually like our policies better on the economy.
You're kidding yourself.
And we have not been doing.
Michael.
One footnote to file away for Tuesday night as those Pennsylvania returns come in. Josh Shapiro, I think, is going to win handily against Doug Mastriano, but it'll be capped in terms of the impact on the rest of the ticket because no longer can Pennsylvanians, as we say, pull the big ticket. You've got to vote each race individually. We have a history of ticket splitting. It might be to the benefit of Dr. Oz.
Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, I know, obviously, we are 2 days away from 2022 in the midterms, but 2024, the whole question of will Donald Trump run seems to be answered. He hasn't, of course, announced, but he's made pretty clear that he's close. And one of the big tells is he's already going after potential GOP rivals. Listen to what he said about Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, last night.
We're winning big, big, big in the Republican Party for the nomination like nobody's ever seen before. Let's see, there it is, Trump at 71, Ron DeSanctimonious at 10%, Mike Pence at 7. Oh, Mike's doing better than I thought.
Mark?
Well, I think that's a pretty...
We're not laughing at you, Mark. I'm just saying.
I know that, Bakari. I think that was a pretty lame attack on DeSantis. But I think the more telling
Mike
sign...
Pence was in there, too.
I think the more telling sign, frankly, was the notion last week. You saw news that the DOJ was to give independent counsel for indictments coming against President Trump. And I think he feels like he wanted to actually be announced sooner because he wanted credit for the midterm success. And he wants to get ahead of those impending indictments because then he can say, see, look, Biden's DOJ is only going after me because I'm an announced candidate. So I think that was really the more telling sign about a week ago.
I want to put up something that another person who's thinking about running for the Republican nomination, Mike Pompeo, who was in the Trump cabinet, said. He tweeted, not tired of winning, at Governor Ron DeSantis. You've proven conservative policies work. Florida is better for it. Vote for Ron DeSantis.
Trump is better than any kid I ever met at the playground at ranking. I think that's what this is called in terms of assigning nicknames that stick. And I think, frankly, he may have a winner with regard to DeSantis. Time will tell. For me, the big takeaway is it's the clearest sign he really is getting in. And is about to announce.
That's the best news Democrats are going to have. I mean, listen, there's no better foil for Democrats than Donald Trump, somebody who is facing indictments.
Be careful what you wish for.
Well, I mean, we wished for it. We wished for it in 2016, and we failed, and that's for a number of reasons. And then we actually were able to beat him soundly in 2020. And so, what I do believe, though, is Democrats actually rally around messaging that is opposed to everything Donald Trump stands for. It's extremely clear. And the closing message we have now, although it's not listening to voters, may actually work against somebody like Donald Trump.
Well, and you have this situation where a nasty Republican primary is probably good for Democrats, but because the nastier Donald Trump is, and by the way, Ron DeSantis is sanctimonious. He just
I was about to say it perfectly
He just released
fits.
an ad this week comparing himself to God, so as a creation. So the fact that you will be reminding voters of what they actually rejected about Donald Trump will actually be helpful.
Mark, I wanted to ask you if you think that Donald Trump's timing here has anything to do also, not just with the midterms, but with trying to get ahead of your former boss and close confidant, Mike Pence. He's going on a book tour. And Donald Trump is going to maybe try to step on that as well. Is that a factor?
That wouldn't be out of character for the former president. But I also think that in some ways to help elevate the book tour and draw more attention. I think as the former vice president travels the country, he's more and more encouraged by what people tell him about wanting a different style of leadership and a level of competent leadership in this country that we've been missing. So I think it could actually just elevate it.
I think we just saw the beginning of the Mike Pence the Mike Pence pitch.
It's not real until he gets a nickname.
Maybe
right,
it'll
guys.
draw Pence out to say things about January 6th that he really hasn't said publicly.
All right, guys, thank you so much.